Welcome back. Stas23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And today we're going to be taking apart this Fox Knives Tur. I noticed a few things that I thought looked kind of interesting. So I want to look inside and see what we got and see if I can maybe improve on the action of this knife. The pivot is going to take a Torx T8, and I use Weeha Torx drivers. It's good to get some nice quality drivers so you don't strip anything. Um, Definitely if you have some nicer, any knives that you don't want to ruin your pivots, get some nice ones. These aren't that expensive. You don't have to get no fancy driver or anything. I think this set right here, I think I got for like 20 something bucks. This is also another Weeha driver, just a smaller bit. And the body screws on this are Torx T8. So let's get this thing taken apart. Let's see. Oh, must not have, if they do have Loctite, must not have much. Yeah, there's a little bit of Loctite on there. Get these body screws off. Oh man, they must have a good bit of tension because this knife's just jumping apart on me. And that's one thing I noticed. There's a good bit of lock bar tension on this knife that's kind of hindering the smoothness of it. Good bit of lock bar pressure. Oh, that's nice to see right there. So you don't have your steel, your washers rubbing on carbon fiber. They actually put a steel insert right there. That's very, very nice. I like how they milled that. And they also have it for the stop pins, so your stop pin's not just resting in carbon fiber. You actually have some steel for it to lay in. That's very nice. One thing I did notice, your two screws are different on both of them. You got a longer on the bottom and the top. So your washer just popped out here. Get the knife blade out, and simple construction. You can see those are shouldered pins right there, which are very nice. Makes it easy to have locating points. You got two locating points here. You got a locating point here. And let's see if I can get that phosphor bronze washer out. We'll set this one over here, this one over here. Let's see. This is something I want to check out real quick. I noticed somebody said something about the grind right here looking kind of wonky, but what I noticed whenever I was inspecting it is that it's not that it's a rough grind, which it looks like, but if you look at that, they have carbonized. That's carbonization all right there. And why they did that is I have no idea. I mean, usually you put carbonization on the lock face, especially if it's titanium, because the titanium will gall whenever it comes in contact with the steel, causing deformation. And they usually put a layer of tungsten carbide right here to give it a higher HRC, so it's stronger than whatever. But do a quick test, and just like I thought, this is stainless. Now this really makes no sense to me, because I don't know if you can see that, but that right there is also carbonized. So I've never seen any factory knife that has carbonization on the tang here and on the lock face. I don't know if it's poor tolerances or for some odd reason you're getting lock stick, which you shouldn't, being that it's stainless, unless there was some kind of issue going on. But something I did notice, that once this blade starts to wear, you have a pretty deep ramp, which could cause some lock rock later on down the road. I wish they would have flat faced that a little bit more. That's pretty steep, because whenever the lock bar starts to engage, once it gets up in this area right here, it's going to want to slide back down this way. Especially when you got it carbonized on both sides, it makes it slick. And that's just going to hit right here if it gets to this point. Maybe that's why they carbonized both sides. Maybe they were hoping that it would take a long time to wear, therefore you wouldn't have the lock traveling up here in this portion area right here to where it would slide back off. So I don't know. One thing I did notice too that I love seeing is you got a detent ball ramp right here. That's so whenever you go to close your knife, it doesn't get hung up on the detent. That's very nice coming from the factory. You can see your detent track right here. And you can see where the washers are coming in contact with the steel. And it doesn't look bad. It'll start burnishing or polishing this area right here the more and more you open it. But with lubrication, sometimes that could take longer. And as you don't really see any right here, so I don't know. Sometimes that could mean that your washers aren't sitting flush. You can see they got a nice chamfer around this hole right here. That's nice. And another one right here. That's a nice little touch. Kind of help out for smoothness. I noticed on the blah 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 blah. The pivot is D-shaped on the opposite side right here, so you got a locked-in pivot. You don't have to worry about it free spinning. I won't take off any of this right now. Maybe later on down the road I'll put some corrosion. I might spray some EDCI behind that or so. You can see right here. Let's see. Let me take the. You can see right here. You got your two clip screws. I love the way they did that. That's a very nice touch. You don't see that on too many production knives. This clip must be recessed into the carbon fiber. They must have a pocket milled out. And there you go, screwed in right there. And we don't need to take that apart. There's no need for it right now. So let's put this back on. Just wanted to see, you know, that if somebody can explain to me why they did that, that's just kind of odd. Now, you know, if I don't see, ever see any problems, then oh well, it's not a big deal. But that's just odd to me. You can see that is a steel detent ball. It's not ceramic, which not the biggest deal in the world. At the price point and the material, so far so good. Like I said, they don't have a relief, which I'm glad there's no relief cut in here. But usually whenever you don't have a relief, your spring tension is pretty tough, and it's definitely pushing on this blade pretty hard this way. So let's see if putting some fresh lube in there. Let's see. I'll wipe down I use alcohol wipes to wipe down everything, and I will get off any of the old lube that they had on here. This knife is pretty new, so it's fairly clean. Just get all the faces, everything cleaned up. Get around your pivot just in case there's any, sometimes whenever they're getting these knives off the assembly line or however they do it, sometimes you'll have metal filings around it, and it's good to get it cleaned out. You don't want to start wearing away at your washers or anything because there was some kind of metal shavings or something left over from the process, from the manufacturing. So you definitely want to wipe off these faces too, your lock face and your blade tang, just in case you don't want any lube or any dirt on there. Could affect your lockup. Well, that was pretty easy. Let's get this sucker back together. This will probably be one of my fastest take aparts yet. Let's see. Alrighty, let's get our washer put back in here. I'm just using my lube of choice, Nano Oil 10 weight. This is just what I have right now. I also use Coon P, recommended to me by Rough Rooster Knife Sharpening. I'll do check out his channel, especially if you're into freehand sharpening. He knows what he's talking about, and he's a really good guy. We talk here and there on the phone. And like I said, really nice guy. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of lube in the detent track just to help that detent ball slide smoothly. And on the ramp, I'm definitely overdoing it, but hey, I can always wipe up the excess later. Just put a dot here and there. That's enough lube, hopefully. Let's pop the blade back in and the stop pin. All right, let's pop our other washer. All right, make sure there is a correct way to put it. Usually you can tell by the wear on the washer which side it goes on. This side didn't have much wear at all. The other side you could see where it was pivoting on the knife on the washers. And see what I'm talking about with these shouldered pins right here? It makes it so nice to be able to, everything kind of just snaps back into place. Once you get it, everything's lined. That's snapped back in because it has those little shouldered areas right there. Everything gets back into there. What I like to do is I do a few things to adjust the tension, but I like to start off by just kind of doing everything just about hand tight, nothing crazy. Like I said, they got blue Loctite on this one. Usually with shouldered pins like that, I mean I don't really ever notice any screws backing off whenever you got shouldered pins like that. But you know, if I do happen to notice them, I'm just doing these. I tighten them all the way down, then I back them off about 1/8 of a turn until I get everything set to where I want it. If this is something that y'all want to see more of, please let me know. Like I said, this one, there was just some interesting stuff. Like to put it in 90 degree right there. I've read that on Blade Forums and USN, and a few knife makers said that. Got it loose right here. It'll let everything shift into place. If that doesn't work, I'll show you another method to where you could try to get the best action and lock up. So I'm gonna go ahead and snug these down. Not gonna go full tight yet. It's kind of like when you're tightening the lugs on your tires. You want to kind of get everything equal. You don't want to shift one side. You don't want to tighten one side down really tight and then one side being lifted up or something. It could ruin stuff, or it could mess up on your action. So got that to where I want it. Now it's time to get the centering. You see the blade still not tightened down. I'm going to go till, okay, right there is where the pivot is dead on center. And I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, it's hard to show. Let's see, is it dead center? Maybe a little bit more. It looks centered to me, but I can always fix that later. Let's check the action. Whew, that made a big difference. Very, very smooth. It's amazing what a little bit of lube can do. Look at that, dead on centered. Let's check for blade play. Absolutely no blade play, up or down, left or right. Nice and solid, just like you want it. And this knife will never be a free dropper. It's got way too much lock bar tension, but you still don't, even when you let off that lock bar, you're still getting tension from the blah blah blah. What is it called? Your detent ball. It's still catching, but boy, this thing is rocketing out now. It was pretty smooth before whenever I picked it up from Sharp Dad, but now this thing's just butter smooth. Like I said, y'all let me know if y'all want to see more of these. I can definitely do them. You know, I always take my knives down just to see what makes them tick and see if I can improve on the action any, and if it could help anybody else out and let y'all know how it goes, just in case it doesn't go well, so let you know if you don't want to do it to your knife or not. I can do it first. That one went pretty smooth. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Remember, guys, live every day as if it were your last. Peace.